Buddy, running a little late. So, uh, we'll see if any of you guys show up because I didn't actually put the link on out there, and I know we weren't here last week. So, um, we'll see how you go. See if anybody pops in here. Um, but if you're watching this on recording, I am sorry I missed you guys last week, and it was a really good week. We had about 8 days of classes with Jackie. Oh, I'm sorry, it was 6 days of classes, and altogether about 8 days. My glasses are fogging over. I just ran down the stairs. So anyway, thank you for joining. Sorry I was a little late getting logged on tonight, and sorry I didn't have the link. We'll get better. Hey, Kathy. But yeah, it was a good group. We had 3 different classes that we had. Hey, Joe. Hey, Oklahoma. Cool. Um, hey, Sharon. Hey, Caroline. Hey, Ann. Hey, Barbara. Hey, Rhonda. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend. Although my weekends and weekdays kind of run together. I think Sunday's really about the only day I usually take off. And sometimes I'm out at the Baird House working out over there too. So, um, but yeah, so we had a good group of people. The first class had about, I don't know, I think we were at about 20 people. The second class was maybe 19. The third class was a little bit lighter. It was a 1 day class, about 9 people in it. Hey, Rose. So it was a lot of fun. And hey, Kelly. And so we've already got Jackie Duplessis. Let's see if I can pronounce that right. We've already got her scheduled again for next year. We've got 2 sessions next year, but the first one is in March, and it's over our birthday weekend, and we'll do that every year over our birthday weekend. So we're pretty excited about that. And then the next one next year is in October, but that one could move around depending on how things go. October is such a busy month. I'm learning that it's hard for people to travel and make plans. My glasses are still fogging over. I might not be able to read your comments for a minute. So, uh, hey, Michelle. Yay, it is Friday. So, yeah, I remember the days of my corporate job, and I would look forward to the weekends, but we ended up working a lot of weekends too. And I was kind of on call all the time, so I had to do phone calls whenever I had to do them. Hey, Deborah. So, hey, Robbie. Um, so I've gotten a little bit of stitching done. Hey, Barbara. I have been, I'm all over the place. You know how that is. Hey, Lilina. What did I finish? I finished up the stitching for the hands-on design workshop that we had, which I told you I was going to have it all put together, and I didn't. I clearly didn't have any time for that. I'm just the eternal optimist, I'm afraid. And I guess that's a good thing. I guess that's better than being an Eeyore. It's not much of a tale, but it's my tale. I love Eeyore. Hey, Susan. Um, he's so cute, but he's always bummed out. Hey, Cheryl. I guess I'm more of a piglet. I'm kind of all over the place. Although I probably look a little more like Winnie the Pooh right now. But I have given up sugary drinks. I gave it up for like a week. And then the last day of our 6 day workshop stuff, a week before that, I caved. And so I had like 2 Mountain Dews. Hey, Kathy. But I think they gave me a real Coke somewhere I was yesterday, and I don't like real Coke anytime at all, ever. And I drank a little bit of that, but I'm back off the sugar drink, so that's good. So, um, and my knee has been doing really well. So that means I can start walking on the treadmill again. So I've been kind of I've been babying my knee because I hyperextended it. And so it feels like the kneecap just pops out of joint. And I described that to my doctor, and he said, that's exactly what it's doing. That's not comforting. Hey, Beth. Yay, I am live and alive. And so anyway, I've been babying it, and it's been progressively getting better, which when I told him that probably a month ago, he just looked at me and he kind of pursed his lips. He's a young guy. He's a lot younger than me. And he didn't really say anything, but he didn't like nod his head too, like, oh yeah, it will. He just kind of looked at me and went, and then looked away and started doing something else. So it made me think maybe it couldn't get better on its own. Hey, Donna. Yeah, but I think it's getting better. I noticed when we had, I guess it was one of the other classes this summer, I thought it was getting better, and then just kind of throughout the class sessions, and it was just a weekend class. The others, I guess when I got tired, it kind of started doing that popping thing more. And when that happens, hey Nancy, I can't put any weight on it. So it's really weird to see me when it happens because it looks like I'm going to fall because I usually just like, I stop whatever I'm doing for a minute. This time it didn't do that. So I really think it's getting better. So I'm excited about that. So those are my ailments. And I've had a sick kitty. Marmal Kitty has, she is 20, at least 20, maybe a little bit older. And, you know, she's showing her age some, but she's so feisty. She's fun. She's a snowshoe cat. So she's black, except she's got little white feet and she's got white whiskers and a little bit of white stuff on her chest. Like a tuxedo snowshoe is what she is. And she's so feisty and so angry looking because she's got this scowl like this. And, anyway, I took her to the vet yesterday and, I think I hope she's going to be a little bit better. We ran some tests and she ate some of their tuna. She just won't eat for me. I've been feeding her everything. I fed her some little shrimp tonight, little baby shrimp, and I've been cooking chicken for them, which she loves to eat. And then all of a sudden, like 3 or 4 days ago, she just stopped. And so she licks up the broth and stuff. I think it's because she can't smell because her nose is real congested. So, I don't know. Tonight, after this is over, I may go cook some more chicken to feed my cats. Hey, Alice, welcome. You're not real late. I think I'm getting old because I was talking about my ailments. So, I'm just going to own that. I'm definitely getting older. And it's better than not, so I'm going with that. But yeah, little Marmal Kitty. I think she's got a very persistent little nasal infection. And, so they give her a shot every month or so now that's like an antibiotic, which it helps a little bit. So maybe in a day or so she'll be able to smell, which will mean she'll want to eat. So anyway, that's that. So I've been catching up shipping the last few days. So if I owe you something, I'm sorry. I'm working on it. We'll get it done. We didn't ship anything when Jackie was here. I just couldn't because it's just... I have my helpers that are available. They were working the class with me. So I apologize for that. But we are getting it out as fast as we can. But I wanted to show you a few things. And I want to hear from you guys what's going on. Oh, so I did not get the soiree classes posted. That was also wishful thinking. But I will have that done tomorrow for you. And you can choose. So I do have a question for you. So Allie's workshop is going to be button weaving, and it's not really a Dorset button. I mean, it kind of looks like a Dorset button, but it's something different. And you'll use pearl cotton, and you'll use a little plastic ring, and we'll supply all that for you. Susan's got 2 workshops. One is black work, and one is hard anger. And I forget which one of them uses some of our linen thread, which is kind of fun. So I'll be posting that pictures. The soiree, the soiree is done really well. I'm probably going to close it out soon. Not the classes part, because I know you guys haven't seen those and you need some time. But I'm probably going to close out the open registration to the soiree, because it's really big, which is fine. But, you know, we do a little pattern for you. And so we've just about got that finished. And that'll be fun. So you've got those 3 things, and then I wanted to do one, and I've kind of been on the fence about what I wanted to offer you guys. And what I'm thinking about doing now, because not everybody's a sampler person, and I'm okay with that. What I'm thinking about doing is using some thinner banding, because I have a lot of banding that you haven't seen yet. Using some banding, some thinner banding. I have Ada and I have linen in some of the banding. And so I'll be able to cover whatever your preference is. And do some, a little design and some specialty stitches. Just a little one, you know, nothing crazy. And I'm trying to decide what the theme should be. You know what I mean? Like I can make it a Christmas theme because I've got Christmas banding, which will be fun. And then, you know, I'll give you a way to display it. Or I could make it Halloween, or I could make it Valentine's Day, or I could just make it kind of Blue Ridge Mountain woodland scene. So let me know what you guys think about that. I'd love to hear from you on kind of what your thoughts around that might be. So, I know some of you aren't able to comment, but maybe send me, hey, Melanie, um, you're at that age where you play the game, you wonder where I got that bruise. Yeah, me too. I've had one on my arm that's taken like 2 weeks to go away, and they usually go away real quick. You got to sign up, Rhonda. Yeah, go sign up. It's pretty reasonably priced. It's like $60, and for that, you get some stash. It's fun, and you'll get some other fun stuff from us as we go. So, yes, it's actually on the weekend of my family reunion. My sister's doing that this year, so there's that. So I might not be there. Hey, Kathy. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't miss it. I was a little late. So let me know what you think about that. About, maybe me incorporating a little piece of banding, which I would supply to you, making a little design. Like, what would you want? Something that's a seasonal thing, like a Christmas, or, and I know not everybody does Christmas, so maybe it would be winter, like a winter, or a fall, Valentine's Day, or just kind of woodland, North Carolina looking something. Christmas, but intrigued by the woodland. Okay. Well, it wouldn't be hard to do a few, because I think what I could do with that, if I use a neutral banding, I could do the same specialty stitches on all of them, and then you would change the look of it by whatever little added motif we put with it. So we could maybe we'll supply several different motifs that's just cross stitch, and you can pick your motif, and then you can make it whatever you want. That might work. What do you think about that? Because it's easy to do some little small things like that, but it's a narrow banding, and so it'll be small, which I think will be fun. Hey, Pat. Yeah, welcome. So that was my 4th class that I've been trying to think about and figure out. So if you like the idea of that, let me know. Or if you have a different perspective, let me know that. Yeah, I kind of like the woodland thing too. But we'll figure. We'll maybe I can make it work for everything. And maybe I can do that by offering some different bandings. And when you guys purchase the class, you can purchase your banding. We'll do that. And then the different motifs. And that way you can use that little design. If you want to stitch it again, you can do something else. But I was thinking for specialty stitches, like some of us know how to do a lot of them, but, it would be nice to maybe have a little refresher. So, there won't be anything crazy on there, but maybe 10 different specialty stitches. And I don't know. I don't like the number 10. I like odd numbers, because I don't know if you've ever noticed, but odd numbers show up in nature more often. Like flower petals, it's almost always an odd number. And it's leaves, almost always an odd number. It's kind of interesting. So, yeah. So maybe it'll be an odd number. Maybe it'll be 7 or 9, something like that. And then you can add your something to it. So, yeah, I think that'd be fun. And we can give you the stitch diagram for them too. We'll do that. I like it. Unless you give me a better idea. And not everybody will end up taking mine, and that's fine. Because you have some choices. And they'll all be pretty inexpensive. But I'll get them posted tomorrow. For you. I think that'll be fun. Okay, what else? So, I wanted to show you the stitching. Hey, Inherited Stitches. I wanted to show you, yeah, Rose, next time you're out looking around, check out how often that happens. It's almost all the time. I wanted to show you my stitching for my hands-on design class that I took. So, I can't remember if I showed you any of it. I think I didn't have it. But this makes into a needle book. And so this was kind of the biggest stitching. And that little checkered background behind it, that is lattice work, and that was done with a single strand. Okay, let me take care of something here. I have an intruder. Let me see if I can get this person off. Well, sheep. Yeah, thank you, Barbara. I'm trying to figure out how to delete this person from our thing. Oops, that's not the one. I figured it out. Okay, let me get down there again. Get this person out of here. Okay. Thank you, Melanie. I appreciate that. I'm trying to figure out how to delete that spammer. I had it, and then I can't get it to come back. Huh. Dang it. I got it to come up a minute ago, but it was somebody else. Alright, I'm not going to worry about it. Just ignore that person. I'll figure it out for the next one. Sorry. Okay. Let me get down here to the bottom. Sorry, struggling here today. Oh, I might have just went back to the beginning. Well, at least I figured out how to scroll through the messages. You would think after months of doing this, I would have done that already. Yeah. All right, when somebody else comments, I think it'll come back up to where it needs to be. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Yes, I did get the dove in from Weeks Fireworks, Barbara. I did, and I will put it online. Yep. It gives you the option to report them or block them. Yeah, block them, Rose, for me, if you can. Because I can't, for some reason, I can't make it do that, but... Or report them, and maybe it'll give me the chance to block them. Hey, Sandra. So I did get the 36 and 40 count in the dove in, and it's really pretty. I did watch Cindy DeRossi. I did watch her ornament special, and they were all really beautiful. I don't have mine yet, though. Let me see if I can do it now. Shoot. I think maybe it went to my P.O. box in Weaverville, and I haven't gotten over there. Thank you, Sandra. Thanks, Rose. So that was so I'm looking forward to seeing what ornament I got. So I'm excited about that. Okay, so this is a little floss tag. And so this is the one that I said the finish was really pretty neat on. Like you gather it together here, and then it comes down straight on the sides like a little tombstone and folds up. That one was pretty neat. And let me see if I can find the ones that I finished. I had it put aside to show you, and I've done something with it now. I'm so discombobulated. Sorry. Okay, well, at some point I'll show you that all finished. So, that was not very good. And I did start a new one because Kathy she gave us a little treat, which is one that's not been released yet, but is coming out soon. And I don't know if she just released it with her new stuff or not. But I started that one in Stitch Group the other night because I finished all the others. So that one's stitching up pretty quick. So we'll have that when it comes out too, which will be fun. Have a little model done of that. Put this one back up. And that class was stitched on 32 count platinum, which is a nice color. Marlene, you can call tomorrow morning. I'll be here tomorrow morning working on shipping. I was here today too. Now, let me... I had something in here. I don't know if I showed you guys this, but this was my 17th that I finished. Not put together yet, but completely stitched. So for those of you who are stitching on that, I was excited. So that's the outer band, and then the top and bottom of it. This was, I think I stitched this for, I don't know if that was the top or the bottom. So I think this was the top. Might have to look back. I think that was the top, or was, yeah, this was the top. And then I stitched this for the bottom, and I don't know if I got to show this. So she's got a piece of wool that goes on the top on that other part, and so I stitched this for the bottom of it. I personalized it, and I switched up the colors a little bit, and that's a piece of velveteen that I stitched for the bottom. So, and then I just changed up the colors to be kind of the violets and the pinks. And I thought that was fun. So this was the 17th stitch along that we did. So I will have a finishing day soon and get that done. Yeah, we've got that kitted. We've got that one fully kitted in Ada and linen for that one, if you decide you want to stitch that one. So that'll be fun. Is anybody working on the new one that we kind of started together that I haven't started yet? Worldwide Cross Stitch Day is on the 12th. This is not a drill. Okay. I'll stitch. You guys should stitch. Thank you, Donna. Did anybody start on the one from Heartstring Sampleries that had all the different hands and hearts? I haven't. Have not started that yet. This is my so Beth, this is my start to Alice Ellen Usher. Everybody has to start somewhere, right? So this is what it looks like. Everybody has to start somewhere, and I have, oh, hey, Laura, thanks for joining. I have a fantastic start. Are you teasing me? I have the antique down here, and so Barbara, I think it was you asked me last time if she carried stitches, so I'm going to get that and show it to you. Okay. So, this is Alice Ellen Usher, the antique, which I know you guys have seen. So this is the front. Pretty, pretty. And the picked out stitches down there, it would have said New Wing Orphan House. And so we included that in the chart so you could see it. And you'll be glad to know, well, yes, indeed, she did carry stitches. So on some of them she did. You can see it letter to letter. Like, see the small alphabet there? Even some of the big ones. she carried quite a few threads. So that's the back. The back. So this one will get into a frame soon. So yeah, so you can feel good about carrying a little bit here and there. You cannot see it on the front, even on this light colored linen. You cannot. So some of you are moving along on that thing. So thank you for stitching it. I love the green. I love the blue. They're beautiful. Beautiful. I'm excited. So, and mine's going to be kind of a meditative stitch. I'm going to start working on that and just enjoy it. It might take me a little while, but that's okay. I'm not in a rush on it. This Alice Ellen Escher is a big old piece of fabric. So, do you guys remember the last time I showed you a whip and it was from the Witchy Stitcher? Her back looks better than some of my fronts. Yeah, she does beautiful stitching, although I wouldn't agree with that on you, Melanie. Maybe some of mine. On stitching small, Barbara, I've been stitching over one, which I'll show you that in a minute. So, and I hate stitching over one. Stitcherella, I love that name. Yeah, it's beautiful. So you remember the cryptid stitch that I was doing with the Witchy Stitcher? Well, I didn't quite finish it. I'm almost done with it. I need to do like 3 more cryptids, but she started a new one called Supernatural, which I was really excited about, and I haven't been working on it because I just, I have said this before, my stitching eyes are bigger than my stitching stomach. And I bite off a lot. But I have never, I don't even remember, I probably said I was bored as a little kid a few times, but I don't know that I was telling the whole truth. And my mom very quickly found me something to do. But as an adult, I'm never bored. I have plenty to do, so I don't mind having whips. I've got lots of friends who are what we would call a monogamous stitcher, meaning that they start a project and finish it, or at most they have 2 going. My friend Pat, who watches sometimes, she's here. She's a local stitcher here, and she says she's a monogamous stitcher. But I happen to know that she has a little stitchy piece that she often takes as a travel piece. And so when she comes to our stitch ins, she usually has 2. Like when we were stitching in person, which we haven't started yet again, but when we were stitching in person, she had a piece that she stitched at home. And then one that it's hard to say. I feel like I'm saying Sally sells seashells on the seashore. And one that she brought to the shop for the stitch in. So while she might mostly be monogamous, she has a little stitch on the side too. She brings her travel piece. Right now, she's just stitching one piece, and she gets a lot of stuff done. A lot of my local stitch groups get a lot of stuff done. I feel like I stitch a lot. I do, but I don't finish anything. So, but I'm committed to a few things. So I'm glad I finished the 17th, and that, I told you about that little Eastery looking thing that was actually Valentine's Day thing. I stitched that twice this year. So that's fun. So I'm going to finish the other one in a little round pin keep finish. But I really have been stitching a lot on this over one project that I got from Jackie Duplessis. It was one of the 3 classes that she did, and it was the last one. And because it was the last one, I was kind of already stitching on it. A little stitch on the side, I know. I had to be careful saying that. I said it to Pat last night. She didn't laugh out loud, but I saw her smile. So this was the 3rd class. It's called Behold Thy Beauty. This little purse thing here is like a little accordion purse, and so it stretches out. And so we did paper models of it. And so this was the paper model. Now this thing, I taped it together, and because it's paper, it's really hard to make it do its accordion thing. But before I taped it together, every one of these lines right here is a fold. And so it just kind of crunches down on itself like a little accordion. And then you can pull it to open it up, and it's like a little purse. And it has a top and a bottom. And it has this really beautiful silk Dupioni. It is the most beautiful color of purple. I believe it's like the prettiest thistly purple I've ever seen. Oh gosh, this is enough to just be in love with it right here. If you like purples, and I'm not a huge purple fan, but man, ugh, that did it for me. And then that goes inside of it. And this is how the little top attaches. So look at that. It's a little piece of I think this is, I forgot what she told me, the bird's eye pine or bird's eye maple. I think this is something like that. And so you stitch the top panel, closes down on this, and this is the opening of the purse. And so you stitch the opening of the purse. So this is how tiny it is. And that Dupioni is down inside, and then it scrunches down on itself, and it has a little bottom, and then it's got little smalls that go inside of it. So I've been working on the little smalls, and I thought that I would show you, just so I can prove that I can stitch over one, some of the pieces that I've done for that since last Sunday, because this class was last Sunday. So needless to say, I'm feeling rather accomplished. But so this is the little flower there. That is the scissor fob front. So that gets finished into a scissor fob, and it's teeny tiny. Like this is my finger. So you see how little that is, and it's over one on 32 count. But what I found out, even though the directions didn't call for it, and this is one reason I wanted to tell you guys about it. I'm gonna put this behind it so you can see the full color. When this particular linen's really easy to stitch over one on. It's called sandstone, and it's stiff. And whenever you're doing finishing, you need something a little stiff with some sizing in it. Because if it doesn't have sizing in it, it's hard to join the stitches. And so you do all kinds of joining with it. But the inside of that flower is tent stitch. I don't know if you can really see it. Because I did it over two and it looked horrible. I didn't quite finish it. It looked really bad. And so I took it out and I did just the inside over one. And it looked fine. And everything else is over two. And then the stitch going around the edge is kind of neat. I don't know how much of it you can see. But it's like a Smyrna cross. But it's called a bridge Smyrna cross or something like that. It's like two Smyrnas side by side. But only one belt stitch going across it. And that's the first time I've seen that. So I thought that was cool. It was like a little twinsy going through there. And it gave it a neat dimension. So that is the scissor fob. Yes, I do still carry banding. I do. This is, I think this is a scissor keep. So I think this might go over the blade of the scissors. That's all over one. So you can kind of see the colors that go with that purple Dupioni. These are little toolbars. So on the inside of the hinged lid that closes down over top of the purse, there's these two little straps, and they're made to hold tools in. So you could put, like a pair of, like a laying tool or something else in there. But that's what those are, and those are stitched over one too. Little teeny babies. And then this is the bottom. And so I'm not quite done with that. I was stitching that tonight. But this is the bottom. And you can personalize. This is a dark green. You can personalize it or something else. And so it has all those same little flowers that I just showed you on the other stuff. So for whatever reason, I picked the one that's everything in this one is stitched over one. Yeah, I do want to finish it. I want to finish it by September. I'm actually going to one of her classes taught at Salty Yarns in September, so I'm excited about that. I went into their shop one time, and it was kind of busy, and we were in a hurry, and I didn't get to stay very long. So I'm looking forward to going up there and going into the shop that's in Maryland for the class with Jackie. So I want to have it finished by then. So that was a challenge I set myself. So mid-September, I hate it when my hair gets really straight like that, and I look like a little schoolgirl. Mid-September, I would like to have that finished before I go up there. So before the soiree, which I think I will, because I've got just a couple more pieces to finish for the smalls, and then I've got the big band. And so if I don't stop stitching on it, I will finish it. And that's key, because I jump around a lot. I jump to different things. And like for Stitch Group, I started that other thing the other night because it was sitting in front of me. That's an hour and a half from you, Barbara. Oh, well, Maybe you want to take a Jackie Duplessis class. Jackie Duplessis. Duplessis. I have to tell you a funny story. So we recorded a little video together, and I've got to finish editing it and put it up. And when I introduced her the first time, I said it the way I always say it, which I know is wrong. I say Duplessis or Duplessis, and that's wrong. It's Now I can't say it, and that's what happened to me then too. I was like, I'm gonna say it wrong, and so I said it wrong, and so we stopped and we re-recorded, and I guess I made her nervous because she said it wrong too. I was like, well, I could have done that. That was really funny. So I'm going to cut that out and keep it for a blooper. So it was funny that I got her to mispronounce her own name. Well, it was really funny. We had a good time. We have a good time together. We do. I enjoy her company. She's fun. And she's South African. But she's an American, right? She moved over here a long time ago with her husband, and she does beautiful finishing work. So her classes, she does the designing, but it's really about the beautiful finishing. And you learn things in there that I've never learned anywhere else. And I've gone to, I've been with a lot of great teachers, but her way of construction is unique to her, I think, on a lot of things. And it's really great. Susan's another really good one for constructing. So we've got Susan coming up in August. So if you haven't signed up for that class, I think I showed you guys, pictures of that somewhere. So that's another really beautiful, beautiful finish. So, and, it's on banding too. So if you can come for that, come for that. And if not, maybe we'll talk her into doing it online sometime. So this one's called Behold Thy Beauty, and you guys can hold me accountable. I had 2 goals by the time I go to Salty Yarn: finish Behold Thy Beauty and lose 10 pounds. So, the 10 pounds won't actually be hard to do considering how much I have to lose. I remember one time before I lost some weight, and the last, few pounds were so hard to lose, and I was so mad because I was like, if I had just exercised this hard when I started losing weight, I would have already lost it. And that was true. When you're heavier, you can lose weight a lot easier. It's like guys, because they've got all the muscle mass, they lose weight so fast. When you start exercising, you'll really lose weight a lot faster. And I'm not about losing weight fast because I'm pretty overweight. I want to make sure I don't have any, issues. I'm good with slow and steady, but I have to not drink sugar drinks, and I have to start walking. And I really do like it. It's good for my mental health, to walk. And it's kind of meditative to me. I really enjoy being on the treadmill. I think I might have told you guys about the time I fell off the treadmill. I don't know if I did or not. I probably did at some point. But I was in the gym because I was forcing myself to go to the gym. And I went almost twice a day for a long time. And I went into the dark room. It's called the cardio room. And it was tiered. And then they had treadmills on different tiers. And they had some other machines in there. And I was on the upper tier. And so the room is dark. And they had a bunch of TVs in there. And you could put your headset on and pick out the station on your machine, and you could hear it. Well, I never really did that. I listened to music at the time on my iPod, and tells you how long ago it was I was in the gym on my iPod. And so I was trying to go in there before work because I had a trainer who was telling me to do that. And one day, and I had a hard time doing that because it would have to be at like 6 a.m. And I I needed to eat before I worked out was my problem. And that was really early for me to eat. I really couldn't take eating, at like 5:30 in the morning. And so I'd have to eat like half a piece of cheese or something just to have something on my stomach. But twice I fell asleep on the treadmill, which I know sounds impossible, but it's not. And so the first time I fell asleep, I tried to recover. And so I was like flailing and blah, blah, blah. Well, the treadmill didn't care, and it slung me off the back. Fortunately, I was at the top, and so it just kind of slung me into the wall. And I fell down, and nobody saw me because everybody was in front of me for the most part. And so, that wasn't really enough of a lesson for me. I went back in there again like a couple of weeks later at like 30 a.m. and fell asleep again because it is very meditative to me. I fell asleep again, and this time It's kind of like it's just for a split second you fall asleep, just a split second. And the next thing you're off the treadmill. And so the second time I did not try to recover. I just let it shoot me off the back. I was like, I'm not making another fool of myself. It was so funny. From Melbourne, great. I had a really good friend from Melbourne. And I loved his accent. And his name was Peter Orton. And I thought when I first met him that he was British because the Australian accent in Melbourne is very different from the Australian accent in Sydney. And it sounds a little more English. And once you get used to hearing it, you can tell the difference. And so anyway, he never let me live that down. And then one time I was giving him a hard time about Australia being a prison colony. And he reminded me that so was Georgia in the States. He had to come back for everything. Smart guy. He's up in Colorado now. But yeah, I did not make it to Melbourne when I was over there. I was in Sydney and I got over to one of the beaches, but I didn't get to travel around too much, but it's on my list. I just I don't want to encounter giant spiders. So you might have to promise me that I won't see a giant spider. I might be able to do it. Either that or give me something to kill that giant spider with. I try not to kill spiders much because I'm trying to convince myself that they are nature's weavers, and because they do make beautiful webs, and I love to see them with a little bit of moisture like rain and stuff on them. You fall asleep when you stitch. See, when I get sleepy, I put it away. And I do the same thing with reading. I can't read or stitch when I'm sleepy. But now, when I get sleepy and I go to bed, unless my mind is reeling, like if I get really excited about something, like something new is happening and my mind is moving around trying to make plans and stuff, I can't go to sleep. But normally, I lay my head down and I'm like, boom, out, snoring. I mean, literally just that fast. It's crazy. It makes my husband mad. But it is what it is. Usually he's asleep before I get in there, so it's all good. Um, Man, no, I don't know if I've ever fallen asleep stitching, except maybe on a plane. I probably have on a plane. Not put my stuff away and laid back and fell asleep. I could do it there. Most are beautiful, useful creatures, and you try to relocate them. And the snakes. Okay, so snakes don't bother me that much. I know that's crazy sounding, but they don't. I mean, I just, I'm not really afraid of them. They don't really, they just don't bother me. I mean, they don't like humans. And so, unless it's an aggressive snake, and I try to know them when I see them, because we have snakes here. We have, copperheads are really aggressive snakes down south, and they will put you in the hospital, if you get bitten by them. But we know what they look like. And the good snakes that we have, like black snakes, will eat a copperhead, and king snakes. And so we leave the black snakes and the king snakes. And I shouldn't tell you this, but maybe I already have. But there's actually a black snake that lives at the Baird house, where the new shop is going. And she's slowly getting pushed out because we keep closing up all of our access points. And we call it a her because one of my local stitchers, Leslie Hale, named her Sally. So, Sally, the stitching snake. So, there's great pictures of Sally. She's gotten pretty good size. She's been eating all the copperheads and rats and stuff over there that come around mouse. But spiders, and I know that most of them can't hurt me. We do have brown recluse spiders here and black widows, but they're little. But we know kind of where they are and we look for them. So brown recluse spiders like to hide in your shoes. If you leave them in the closet, like where it's dark and kind of cool, they'll hide in your shoes and stuff. And black widows are usually underneath the mulch, and things like that outside. So we look for them and, stay away from them basically. But I had my best friend in Raleigh, still my best friend in Raleigh. Her name is Mary. I'll call her out. She knows who she is. She's probably not watching. Maybe she'll watch one day. I just dropped something. Don't tell anybody. I'll pick it up. Well, I've known her, forever, since the year 2000. And we've been best friends pretty much that long. And so we've known each other through a lot of life's ups and downs. And one time, and Mary's really funny. She's from South Carolina. She's from Columbia, down around there. South Carolina. So her accent's actually thicker than mine. And she's an accountant. She was on the same career path as me. She's just a little bit younger than me. And so every time I changed jobs, I would recruit her and she would come and work for me. And then, as I got promoted, she got promoted and, we did it like that. And now she's surpassing me a little bit because I left and she was actually a better accountant than me. I'll give her all that. She was a really good accountant, which is why I wanted her on my team, and very ethical. We had to have a lot of really strong ethics because you get a lot of pressure on you when you work for a public company who has stock, and you make the decision. I made the decision as a controller what people could and couldn't do from an accounting perspective, which actually changes the results, which impacted the stock price. And so, it was not uncommon that people would put pressure on you and I would have to push back really hard and say, no, no. Um, and Mary used to laugh because she sat outside my office for a while at one of my last jobs. And she said that, and people had a pretty big personalities there, because most were leaders at some level, and there were a lot of big personalities, especially with the guys. And she used to get a big kick because she said, I sit outside your office and I watch all these men walk in there shaking in their boots. And I just laughed because she was right. Because they were like, and I wasn't vindictive about it, but if it was the wrong thing to do, we didn't do it, period. There was not a lot of discussion. And, accounting's all about rules. It's not about math. And so, I knew the rules and we followed the rules when I was there. But anyway, Mary had a closet where she had her jeans folded up on a shelf. And this is in Raleigh. And, oh, you might know her, South Carolina. Well, she's in Raleigh now. She's been in Raleigh for a long time, but she played tennis for the USC team. And she is about 7 or 8 years younger than me. So she's in her early to mid 40s now. So I don't know if you would know her or not, but she's a neat girl, Mary Michael Martin. I love her name. Anyway, she put on a pair of jeans and there was a brown recluse in the leg of it and it bit her on the butt, on the hind end, on one cheek. And so that butt cheek swelled up really big. She's lucky that nothing else bad happened. I mean, she went to the emergency room and stuff, and I don't know if they gave her a shot or what, but the next day she came to work and she had one big cheek because we're always in dress pants and stuff, So it was obvious that she had done something to her hind end. But hey, Metro Stitcher, hey, Inez. So you could get a lot of sitting done in that jail cell. So anyway, that was my Mary story. We look out for brown recluse. But yeah, I try to respect spiders. They don't always make it around me. I'll be honest. But I try to live and let live. I figure they're eating little bugs and stuff that I don't want around anyway. When they try to catch me, I get a little offended by it. Like, these big wolf spiders that build webs that stretch. Like one time a spider built a web that stretched all the way literally across my driveway. It went from the edge of my house over to a tree. It was a massive web. And I walked out there at night, and fortunately the light hit it, and I saw it. Otherwise, it would have been all over me. And my reaction to that is immediately run in the house, strip naked, and get in the shower. And I had done that on more than one occasion. And hopefully, for everybody's sake, I make it in the house. But I couldn't believe it. I videoed that. It's still out on Facebook somewhere. This giant spider web. And it made me remember the cartoon on the Far Side. There's there's two spiders. And there's one of those little kids slide, and it has the hood over the top part. And then the bottom part is open. And they had built a web over the top part. And there was a little kid that was going up the ladder to slide down. And he was kind of a chubby kid. And they were like, if we pull this off, we'll eat like kings. And so every time I see a giant spider web, I think they're trying to eat me. But, oh, they eat centipedes. Oh, Rose, you just made me remember a horrible dream I had last night about a centipede. Ooh, I had forgotten that. In St. Croix, we had big centipedes. And I never saw one while I was there. But in my dream last night, there was a big centipede somewhere. I don't know where I was, but there was a big centipede. I was not happy about it. And he was really fast in the dream, which I understand they were in St. Croix really fast. Um, the wound was horrible. Kendra, was that from a brown recluse that you're talking about? Don't be sorry, Rose. Okay. I have crazy dreams all the time. I'll forget it in a second. Um, that's no big deal. Um, yeah, gosh. I've heard bad stories about brown recluse. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, that's the thing about them is that they cause a wound that just won't heal sometimes, and everybody's body reacts to it differently. Yeah, tarantulas. I'm with you on that. I'd rather see a tarantula than a centipede. Centipedes, to me, honestly, and don't take offense by this, they look like they've just walked straight out of hell. To me, I mean, they do. They look like pure evil to me. Centipedes do. They're horrible, horrible. And the ones that they had in St. Croix, they used to have contests to see who could catch the biggest centipede in their house. It's just like, and so one time I was going to move house. I lived way up on top of a mountain, and I had a beautiful view. But I kind of wanted to live a little bit closer to my job because I lived on the other side of the island, and now the whole island was only 24 miles long. But you're driving these windy roads and stuff, and I lived up on this mountain all by myself, and it was a little bit nervous for me. And so I was ready to sign the lease on a house, and she said something to me when I went in there to do the final walkthrough before I signed the lease about the pest control. And I had talked to other people who lived kind of down in the flatland about it, and they got more centipedes. And I said, and I started thinking about it, and I don't know, I made a call or something, and I found out that area had a lot of centipedes. And I did not sign that lease. I stayed up on my mountain because I never saw one in my house. That's not to say there wasn't one there. I never saw one. Everett told me that he saw the skeleton of one outside, like the carcass. But I never saw one inside, thank goodness. And I think God was just really taking care of me because I don't know if I could have stayed if I did. Because, I already did this every night. I would walk into my room. You always kept your shoes on. You never went barefoot there because you never knew what would be on the floor. Like a millipede, usually. Which don't really hurt you, but they make a huge, disgusting mess. And they were like a hard shell, but they're awful. So you never got up without putting your slippers or anything on. And so I go to bed. Every night I went to bed there. I looked under the bed. I looked behind the headboard. I looked in front of the headboard, between the bed and the headboard. I lifted the sheets and looked under the sheets, and I checked the ceiling before I got into bed and turned off the light. And then I would pull the cover over my head. I can't believe I survived it. I was so glad to come home. Yeah, well, those flying roaches things, we have those up here. We call them palmetto bugs because they are around pine trees and stuff. And I don't have them here in the mountains, but we had them in Raleigh, and I think they have them in South Carolina too. And my cats used to love those in Raleigh because anywhere you had pine trees, they were there. And they would get in the house, and you would find little pieces of them everywhere. The cats would just destroy them. Oh, we should change the subject. This is awful. Let's change the subject. Okay. I don't know what to talk about now. Oh, okay. Millipedes are herbivores. Okay. Well, I'll tell you another funny story about living in St. Croix. And there's a video of this on Facebook too, somewhere. There was a particular bush outside. And one day I noticed that there were these huge, and I mean huge, like probably up to about 8 inches long, some of them. And some of them were smaller, like 4 or 5 inches. And they were pretty fat around, maybe like, like up to an inch around. And they looked velvety, and they were bright yellow and black, and they looked like velvet. And they were like, kind of like caterpillars, but without fur. We have woolly worms here, and they were kind of like that, but without the fur. And they were beautiful, beautiful. And they were eating all of the leaves off this bush. And so there were a ton of them on the ground, and I saw them on the ground. And I went back and I got my phone and I went out there and I was filming them on the ground and on, the bottom part of this little bush. And I had my phone on while I was talking about them. And while I'm talking about them, I realized that there's lots of them on the ground, like they had fallen from somewhere. And I'm standing under a tree. And so you hear the realization in my voice of, if these guys are on the ground like this, they probably fell from, and I look up the tree that I was standing under. That whole tree was covered in those monster worms. And I flipped out. It was hilarious that I had the whole thing on tape. And so I'm like jumping back out from under the tree because they were pretty, but I did not want them in my hair or on my body. And it was just the funniest thing that I got that whole thing on tape. And you would think that anybody else would have looked around a little bit before they went out there with a camera. Yeah, not me. I just went out there and started filming. And there were only two bushes that they liked, and they ate every leaf off those two, like, bush tree things, whatever they were. And then they left, and I think they became a big moth, I think is what I found out about them. They turned into a big moth, but they were really pretty. They were really, really pretty. They weren't scary looking. They looked like something out of Alice in Wonderland. They were just gorgeous. And I don't think that they would have bitten me. I think I looked it up, and I don't think they could bite you. I don't know that I had the courage to pick one up in my hand. And they were gone before, like before ever it came to visit again or whatever. But they were really beautiful. They were pretty. I've got pictures of them. Um, yeah, that would scar you for life if you got a huge spider in your hair. Um, anyway, that was a fun story. And I think I told you the story about the iguana that kept waiting for me trying to eat me. And we're not really changing the subject very well here. Somebody should ask me a stitching question or something. So we've got two classes that are open this year still. We've got Beth Seal that's in a couple weeks. Dance of the Wildflowers. I think I have just a couple spots left in that. Really, really beautiful little class. There's no pre-stitching. So if you're watching and you're signed up, there's no pre-stitching. And then we have Susan Greening Davis at the end of August for a really beautiful project, which I think I showed you guys with the banding and stuff. That's really pretty. And then September is the soiree. I'll get the classes posted for you. And sign up Rhonda or anybody else that hasn't signed up, because at some point I will close down registration so that we can, get everything shipped out and get numbers and stuff. And then in October, we're doing that really cool fun thing. So some of you sent me some fun names. I have to go back through and digest that. I think I went right into the whole thing with Jackie right after that. So I didn't get a good chance to get all that stuff looked through. I saw, Boo Ridge Mountains or something like that. That was really fun and sweet. But yeah, we gotta get a good name for that. So I'll go back and look at what you sent me. But, you know, if you didn't send me anything and you thought of something really great for the October retreat, which is partially in person and partially online, definitely send me something for that. That one's going to be a lot of fun. I will try to do that every year. Uh, yeah, great. I'm glad, Stitcherella, that you want to sign up for the soiree. Yeah, it's the same price. I don't think I've raised the price on it. Well, the first one was more. The very first one was in person. There were two, I think, that were in person. I think we did 2018 and 2019 in person, and then 2020 went online. And then we didn't do one for 2021, and so this will be our fourth one. So we skipped 2021 last year. So, no, the soiree is totally... Oh, Natasha, yay. Yeah, Natasha, you did come to the first one. It is not in person. It is online, but we're having a October thing that is partially in person. So we'll have about 25 spots, 26 spots in person, and it'll be kind of like a soiree, but we'll call it something else. I just haven't gotten the name for it. And then we'll have some virtual spots for that one too. So that one will be a hybrid. So if you want to do it in person, you can come down for the October one. I haven't posted it yet, so you got a little time to think about it. And it's just going to be me. There's no teacher there for that. It'll be open stitch. And if you were interested in Isabel's classes, because we ended up being a little bit double booked with the Georgia Sampler Guild this year. So if you want to do Isabel's class, They're the weekend before our October thing, so I think it's like the 21st, 22nd. Go out and search for the Georgia Sampler Guild, and you can sign up with them to do that. So I think that would be fun too. How's the shop coming? I think Everett was over there working yesterday and today, so I think tomorrow we go over there together and work. And hopefully we're still on track. I wasn't over there for the last week and a half, but I know he's been doing some stuff. And I made a friend at a class I went to last year, and that friend came to the class that we have with Jackie Duplessis last week. And I was talking with her, and Jackie told me that she was a master gardener. And I said, really? so, so I asked her for some advice for, the landscaping. And she had lots of good advice for, how to get the beds ready and stuff like that. So I'm excited about that because that was the one place that I'm just not strong in. I'm not good with plants and stuff. And I really want it to be very beautiful and lush and, kind of, plants that you would have seen here, like plants that my dad had in my yard when I was a kid, is what I'm thinking about, and an adult because it was there when I was an adult too. But those kind of, plants that have just are old plants that make me think of home. What about my tub? So the tub was upstairs, and I think Everett moved it into place. So I think the tub will be fine. We're excited about that. Um, I do have another tub because he wants to get rid of the one here that we could put outside. Because I had a few people tell me you could put your cast iron tub outside. The one at the Baird house is going to stay up there, but we might have another one that maybe we'll put outside somewhere. Now, so here's an idea for it. So we've been talking through too. I hope you guys don't get bored with this because I know I just sit here and ramble, and sometimes I try to show you things and teach you things, and sometimes I just chat. So I hope that's okay. I guess if you didn't like it, you wouldn't dial in, and it would just be me, like it was in the beginning when I turned this one on. It was just me. So anyway, feel free to give me advice if you want me to stop doing something or do something different. I will try to listen. Um, you bathed in a cast iron tub outside, and that's all you're going to say about that. Yeah. Well, I thought about putting one outside here. We ended up getting a hot tub again. Everett's always had hot tubs. And I never did. So we ended up putting one out, but it's just too hot for it. So, um, okay. So, um, the classroom building, we've spent some time talking through that. And, Jackie gave me some advice on that. And I'm kind of curious as to what you guys think. So we have about an acre of property right there, and it's kind of a pie shape. And so if you've looked at a picture of the shop, you pull into the front driveway and the shop is right in front of you. And then to the left of that is all open space. So on the left, it goes back into a pie shape, like it's a wedge, and so it gets to a kind of like a point way back in the back, and that makes up the acre. So you've got a lot of space right up front, and then it narrows down as you go back to the back. And so originally we were going to build the classroom building kind of toward the front of that, and it will look like, um, like a, oh, and also Kathy Haberman, gave me some good advice on it too. So that was fun on the style of building. But it'll look like a gatehouse or an old barn. We'll probably put up a metal building so that we can get it up fast. Because otherwise it's just going to take forever. And then we will decorate the facade, and it'll look beautiful. I think it'll be fine. And it actually could be moved if we had to, which I don't plan on doing that. But, I was going to put it kind of close to the shop, like where you pull into the driveway, and you might have that on the left and the shop is kind of on your right. And Jackie took a look around the property and suggested that I push it back to the very back. And that way I have all the parking kind of in the middle. And the advantage to that would be that we could put up a big tent and have a thing outside, like a big, outside whatever under our tent if we wanted to one day, like a big meal or something like that. We could do lots of things with that property there in between. And I'll have some extra parking next door because the guy who bought the property next door, I think, is a real good guy. And I think we'll get along really well. And if we had overflow parking, we could park over there. Um, the metal can get hot, so be careful. Yeah, that's true. we're gonna put brick and a rock on the outside where the humans might touch it. And so, and we'll put it'll have a darker roof on it. So hopefully I don't know, we'll figure it out. But that's a good point. Overflow parking, yeah, to the property next door, maybe if we needed it. But I don't know that we'll need it, on a normal day. Like, I think maybe if we had like 60 people in there, we might need it. But outside of that, I don't really know that we would. But so the question is do I put it at the back, so that we have all of the space in the middle open? So it would then look like, kind of, for sure and certain, it's going to look like not a gatehouse, but more like a garage, an old garage or a barn might have been the original purpose of it. Now, it won't look just like that because we're going to decorate it up. But if you wanted to think about it historically, the property at that point might have had, like a garage or a little barn or shed or something like that. And so, I can wrap my head around it. Like, okay, maybe it would have grown there. But in that house actually had a whole lot of outbuildings like that. It had a bunch. I mean, like 5 or 6 that they tore down because they moved it about 100 yards down toward the road. So it's still on its original big piece of property, but it used to sit back up on a hill, and they flattened that hill and developed it. And they just moved this house down to the road. And the people who moved the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse in the Outer Banks of North Carolina are the people that moved it. So that's what I'm thinking about. So let me know what you think about that. Yeah, Deb, that's true. It would definitely keep the house, the focus. The classroom's got to the classroom's got to be. Did I say that right? The classroom has got to be pretty decent size. So I would like for it to seat easily 40 and maybe up to 50, and that's it. I don't need it to be any bigger. So, and it'll have a catering kitchen in the back, like a walk-through catering kitchen, and then it has to have some storage for all the tables and chairs and stuff. So it'll be at least 40 feet, probably 40 by 30 is what I'm thinking, something like that. Also, I think it was Jackie mentioned that maybe go with a square shape instead of a rectangular shape like that. And I hadn't really thought about that. Um, anyway, I'm open. I'm open. So let me know what you think about that. If you don't want to get a headache on landscaping, look at native plants in your area. Yeah, you're right. That's what I'm. And also, she told me to get the soil tested. Um, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to try to plant plants that I knew were in my yard my whole lifetime. That that my parents had never had any trouble with, annuals and shrubs and stuff like that. And on the edges, we're going to plant fruit trees and things for the animals and, pollinators and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what I'm trying to go with. I love roses, but my husband does not because he's had to try to deal with too many multiflora roses. And so he's not a big fan of roses, but I might sneak a few in there. We'll see what I can deal with, what I can get by with there. That's a good thing. I didn't think about the university because UNC Asheville is here. I'll have to look into that. We do have a lot of deer here at my house. We don't have as many. We probably have a few deer there at the Baird house, but we have a lot of deer here. There is a like a trail that runs kind of back behind the house, and look for deer resistant plants. Yeah, one of my stitchers said that she saw a big doe in her yard the other day, and she went out the next morning, and every single one of her impatiens were gone. They ate them all. And I know they're like hostas. Yeah, soil testing. I'm going to do that. I do like mini roses too. I like little old, and I like gardenias and things like that. And yeah, roses do need some attention. That's why I'm thinking not many. But my dad had beautiful roses. I think some of them are still growing over there. And he's been gone, 11 years now. And I venture to guess that he wasn't able to take good care of them for the last 4 or 5 years of his life, so 15 years. But they're still blooming and beautiful. But we had lots of roses. We had a lot of lilies. We had little tea roses, big beautiful red roses that grew like into kind of a bush. We had a lot of snowball plants, and my mom planted a lot of annuals or perennials that would go and come. And then we had some annuals and stuff too. But those lilies, I think those lilies might have came from my grandmother's house. And I don't know if they're still over there. I might try to go dig some up if they're still there. They might be. I know the roses are still there. So anyway, we had a beautiful yard. He was very yard proud. Um, Lilies are toxic. Yeah. Oh, I'm surprised that animals eat them. We do have a lot of rabbits here too. Tulips. I love tulips. Oh, um, I know we have bears over there. Well, so what I was saying is between the interstate, because the interstate's close to the back of the house, and it's not a big interstate, it's more of a highway, but between the highway and the house in that no man's land is it drops way down into a flat land, kind of a wide, deep ditch. It's really a trail. It's an old trail. And the animals use that trail because they can walk down through there and not get into any traffic and stuff and come out in the woods. And so that's where the bear comes from. He walks down that trail. It's really kind of a dry creek bed. And, other animals walk through there all the time. We have a lot of groundhogs and stuff too. Lilacs are pretty. Hey, Colleen. Heirloom roses, yeah. So I will tell you guys, if you ever get here, try to go to the gardens at the Biltmore House. And I don't know if you have to have a pass to go to the gardens or not. You might. And it might be a different pass than the pass for the house. I don't know. Or you can hook up maybe with somebody that's got a season's pass. Like I have a little season's pass. But I took Jeanette Douglas through their gardens outside, and they had the most beautiful, like one whole half of it was a rose garden. Most beautiful roses. And they had roses and they had dates on them. They had roses back to, that were 100 years old planted in there. And I think they had some from the 1800s. I know they had some from the 1920s. And the older roses were beautiful, but they had the most potent smell. And some of them smelled like cheap drugstore perfume. It was kind of interesting. They ate your sunflowers. Oh, I love sunflowers. Toward the back of the property, Kathy. Yeah, it would give us more options. You'll have to walk a little bit further, but it's not too far. You know what I mean? It's really not that far. And you may end up walking that far, from your car or whatever anyway, but we could make a beautiful walkway through there. Beautiful. Nice little path walk through there with some flagstone and stuff. I think we could do something really beautiful and fun. So I appreciate that feedback, and I'm interested in what the rest of you think too. I have to decide that pretty soon. So we'll have to start getting that going after we get in there. But yeah, so all fun stuff. I don't even know what time it is. I've just been sitting here rambling. 9:09. Yeah, we have milkweed. That's nice. Smell like lilacs. Yeah, I'm thinking that too, Rose. It would be nice if I could get a hold of some of their flowers. I'm gonna go over there and look. It's just a couple exits up from the Baird house. I grew up right there. Um, a little walkway would be nice. Yeah. Um, so I don't remember what I was saying. Okay, so I have some to-dos. I need to get soiree classes posted for you. And you will see. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, which is Sassy Jack Stitchery or Yonder Ways, same thing, it'll give you an alarm whenever I go live or whenever I've scheduled a live. And so if you're having trouble like getting logged in or something, then you can try that. Russian sage. That sounds nice. I have to check that out. Um, yeah, if you subscribe, then I know you'll get notifications and stuff, and you just sign up for the soiree. That's excellent. I'll get better about it. Be thinking about your soiree classes. I will definitely have them out there tomorrow sometime for you. And, I appreciate that you've helped me with so many things tonight, because you helped me with my, little class kit for the soiree, and you helped me with, thinking about some things about the house. So I appreciate that. Um, so I will let you guys get back to it. I'm going to go do some stitching over one. It's fun Fun stuff. I do it under a magnifier. Oh, and I taught Angie how to stitch over the last few weeks. So she's worked for me for 3 years, and never had we taken time to do that. But she's getting ready to go to Africa on a mission trip, so I knew she needed to have a little hobby in hand, and she's enjoying that. So she's doing pretty well with that. So I will see you guys next Friday. I think Susan Greening Davis is going to be here with me, so that should be fun. Maybe we'll get her on camera too. She's coming to spend a week with me. So, and I have a wedding next weekend. I hope you guys have a really good weekend. And Melanie, that was a beautiful ornament you made. I saw it on Cindy's little video. So I really want mine. I may have to go out tonight and go to my post office and try to grab it. But you guys have a good week. Stay well and stay healthy. And I will see you next Friday night. Bye.